Today, we are taking a deep, fresh look at the undisputed king of our solar system, Jupiter. And trust me, it's time we all got properly acquainted with the monster living right next door. Once you get past the asteroid belt, everything changes. It's like crossing a border into a whole new country. The old rules of rock and stone just don't apply anymore. This is the realm of the giants, and there is one undisputed king. I mean, we're talking about a scale that is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Jupiter isn't just big, it's a gravitational monster that basically runs the entire neighborhood. That sheer, raw dominance is what we're going to explore. So to really meet the king, we've got to start by busting a huge myth that's been floating around for a long, long time. You've probably heard this, right? That Jupiter is a failed star. Well, the science tells a totally different and, frankly, a much cooler story. Jupiter never failed at being a star. It succeeded perfectly at becoming the most powerful planet it could possibly be. And hey, you can kind of see where the confusion comes from. I get it. Jupiter is made of the exact same stuff as our sun, mostly hydrogen and helium. It's got the right ingredients, for sure. But like any good recipe, it's all about the quantity. And Jupiter just doesn't have enough. To actually ignite nuclear fusion, to light up and become a star, it would need to be 75 times more massive than it is right now. It wasn't even close. So let's be clear. It is, without a doubt, a planet. A huge, terrifying planet, but a planet nonetheless. Okay, now let's turn to Jupiter's most famous feature. You know what I'm talking about? It's the symbol of its violent nature, that iconic, swirling crimson eye. This is the Great Red Spot. And it's not just some weather pattern. It's a colossal anticyclone, a storm so vast and so persistent that we've been watching it for centuries. It's just staring out into space like the unblinking eye of some kind of cosmic beast. But here's the thing. That beast is changing. Back in the 1800s, this storm was wide enough to swallow 3 whole Earths. Then, when the Voyager spacecraft flew by in '79, we saw it was getting smaller. And today, you could barely squeeze 1 Earth inside. The King's famous storm, well, it isn't quite as eternal as we thought. And the way it's changing is just fascinating. So get this. As the storm gets squeezed horizontally, it's actually stretching out vertically. It's getting taller. At the same time, its color is getting deeper, more intense. Scientists are still trying to figure out exactly why, but one thing's for sure. This ancient storm is a dynamic, living thing. But, as dramatic as that storm is, the real violence of Jupiter, that's hidden. It's deep down, beneath those beautiful clouds. So now, let's take a journey into the heart of the king, a place no machine we've ever built has survived. So let me ask you a question. It sounds simple, but the answer is absolutely terrifying. What would actually happen if you tried to land on Jupiter? Well, first problem, there's nowhere to land. It's a one-way trip into total oblivion. You'd start by falling through those pretty, peaceful-looking white ammonia clouds. But as you go deeper, the pressure and the temperature would just skyrocket until the air itself becomes a crushing, scorching hot soup. And then you'd just become part of the planet. Dissolved. If you could somehow survive that and go even deeper, you'd find something truly alien. The pressure becomes millions of times greater than here on Earth, so immense that it literally crushes hydrogen atoms until they start acting like a liquid metal. It's a planet-sized ocean of liquid metallic hydrogen, and this swirling electric sea is what generates Jupiter's unbelievably powerful magnetic field. Now, for the longest time, the theory was that maybe you'd just fall forever. But thanks to NASA's incredible Juno mission, we've got a new and, honestly, even weirder answer. Deep down, there's no solid core, but it's not empty either. They're calling it a fuzzy core. So picture this, all the raw materials of a planet, rock, ice, heavy metals, but they never actually settled down into a neat little ball at the center. Instead, they got dissolved and churned up into that metallic hydrogen, creating this huge, chaotic, diluted middle. You wouldn't hit a surface, you'd just dissolve into this cosmic slurry. So you'd think all that chaos and violence is contained inside the planet, right? Nope. It radiates outward, and it turns out the king has an accomplice, helping him create one of the most deadly environments in the entire solar system. And here it is. Meet Io, the most volcanically active body in our solar system. Seriously, this thing is just covered in volcanoes. But it's not just a moon, it's the ammunition factory for Jupiter's personal weapon system. Here's how this deadly partnership works. Io's volcanoes are constantly blasting tons of material, like sulfur, out into space. Jupiter's monster magnetic field snags all that stuff, rips its electrons off, and whips it around the planet at incredible speeds. This process turns that material into a supercharged belt of plasma, basically creating a massive generator of radiation, so lethal it would kill an unprotected person in minutes. Okay, so Jupiter is violent, it's chaotic, it's incredibly deadly. But what does any of that mean for us, way back here on our little blue marble? Well, it turns out the king's influence is a real double-edged sword. On the one hand, Jupiter is our protector. It's like a cosmic vacuum cleaner. Its immense gravity has sucked in or thrown out countless comets and asteroids that could have been heading our way. We might literally owe our existence to it. But that same gravity can be a destroyer. Sometimes it acts like a slingshot, grabbing a random space rock and flinging it on a brand new path, maybe one that heads straight for us. When you really think about Jupiter, it's just this profound reminder of our place in the universe. You know, the cosmos wasn't made to be safe or easy for us. We're just small guests here, living in the shadow of this violent, chaotic, and honestly, magnificent giant. And that leaves us with one final, haunting thought. We may owe our very existence to this distant, violent king. But as we look out into the cosmos, we have to wonder, is he our silent shield, or is he the greatest threat we just don't see coming?